Vital signs and verdicts, truth under the scope. Hospital fails when the profits the hope. Lots of price tag on a corporate sheet that lets you bleed till the ledger's complete.
Welcome to Vital Signs and Verdicts, where medicine meets the law and the truth gets put under the microscope. I'm Liam, a former hospital administrator turned whistleblower, and your host. I'm joined by our panel. Hope, a former surgical RN who lived through her own systemic failure. Pete, who holds a doctorate in psychology and helps firms pick juries for high-profile cases. And Dr. Tyler, a medical doctor with a Juris Doctorate who has testified in federal court and before Congress.
Before we begin, everything we discuss today reflects our professional opinions based on publicly available information, including the court filings in this case. Nothing here is legal advice, medical advice, or a statement of fact beyond what is documented in those files.
Tonight's episode is about the Richardson-Edmonds versus Cox Health and Cox Medical Center Branson, and is one we never expected to air, because tonight we're reacting to a leaked investigative report that raises serious questions about what happened inside Cox Medical Center Branson. But before we get into the leak, we need to remind listeners how this case began.
On November 1st, 2024, Kenny Dean Edmonds was admitted to Cox Medical Center Branson. He was alive. He was having difficulty catching his breath. He was scared, but he was fighting. Over the next 10 days, he received a series of medications that multiple experts now describe as dangerous, excessive, and incompatible with his cardiac condition. On November 10th, terrified and deteriorating, Kenny left the hospital against medical advice. He told his wife he felt overmedicated, unheard, and unsafe.
And he was right to be afraid, because over the next 4 months, his organs began to fail, kidneys, liver, hearts, until he died on March 4th, 2025.
But the story didn't end there. Even while Kenny was still alive, his wife noticed inconsistencies in the patient portal. After his death, those inconsistencies multiplied. She requested the records. She was denied. She was told she needed a court order.
She was told the internal review could not be released, so she did what no grieving widow should ever have to do, as she filed a lawsuit, alone pro se.
That lawsuit triggered a temporary restraining order hearing, a sudden removal to federal court, a remand back to county court, a motion to dismiss, and finally, multiple affidavits of merit from independent experts, all pointing to the same concerns.
And now, tonight, something new has surfaced, a document Cox never expected the public to see. A confidential investigative report has been leaked to our panel, a sworn affidavit from a highly qualified internal medicine specialist, someone board certified, actively practicing, and experienced in critical care pharmacology, has been leaked to our panel. This expert reviewed all three versions of the Cox records, the VA transmitted data, and the patient portal exports. What they found is deeply troubling.
The main findings. 1. Dangerous sedation and pharmacological immobilization, sedatives plus antipsychotics plus benzos plus Presidex.
The affidavit says Kenny was given multiple sedatives, antipsychotics, and benzodiazepines at the same time, lorazepam, haloperidol, diazepam, and a maxed-out Presidex drip. The expert calls this pharmacological immobilization, not medical sedation.
Let me put this in simple terms. They didn't just calm him, they shut his body down. This is like giving someone 4 sleeping pills, 2 tranquilizers, and a knockout drug all at once. A heart as weak as his can't survive that. This wasn't sedation. This was chemical restraint.
Number 2. Medication stacking. Too many drugs, too close together. The affidavit lists a long series of sedatives, opioids, antipsychotics, and CNS depressants given within minutes of each other. The expert says this created dangerous stacking.
Think of it like pouring drink after drink after drink into someone without waiting to see how the first one hits. Except these aren't cocktails, they're powerful hospital drugs. Stacking them like this is how you accidentally stop someone's breathing or crash their heart.
Number 3, toxic vancomycin levels. Kidney failure. The expert found Kenny had a vancomycin level of 38, a toxic level, and no documented infection to justify the drug. His kidneys doubled in creatinine consistent with acute injury.
Vancomycin is like bleach for the kidneys if you don't monitor it. A level of 38 is dangerously toxic. That number alone tells you his kidneys were being poisoned. And once the kidneys go, the heart and other organs follow.
Number 4, failure to manage severe heart failure. The affidavit says the team ignored his 15 to 20% ejection fraction and gave medications that suppress the autonomic system, collapsing his heart function to around 10%.
So that means that his heart was already running on fumes. These drugs slowed his body down even more, like hitting the brakes on a car that's already stalling. His heart didn't stand a chance.
Number 5, causation, how November led to his March death. The expert states the November medication decisions directly triggered the multi-organ failure that unfolded over the next 4 months.
Plain English translation: this didn't come out of nowhere. His organs didn't just fail. They were damaged in November, and he spent 4 months slowly dying from that damage. This was a chain reaction, and it started in that hospital.
Okay, and number 6, record integrity, multiple versions, missing data. The affidavit confirms multiple inconsistent versions of the record, missing data, and documentation that doesn't match clinical reality.
So that means when 3 versions of the same story don't match, jurors don't think mistake. They think someone changed something. And missing vital signs? That's like ripping pages out of a diary. It doesn't happen by accident.
This report is the kind of thing nurses whisper about but never expect to see documented. The first thing that hit me? A paralytic medication billed after extubation. A paralytic stops breathing. If you're not on a ventilator, you die. There is no airway intervention document. No emergency response, no justification.
That is not a typo. That is not a glitch. That is a life-ending event with no explanation. Then you add the cocktail of sedatives, opioids, benzos, antipsychotics, given with no documented monitoring, and it's catastrophic.
You're right. And from a jury perspective, this is devastating. Jurors don't forget 3 versions of the same record, diagnoses added months later. Vital signs that existed in the VA version, but vanished from the Cox version, billing that contradicts the chart.
And Pete, this leaked information also states that there are not 1, but 2 whistleblowers ready to testify who were there and saw and heard what was going on during November 1st through 10th in 2024.
Well, in Liam, this isn't messy charting. This is a pattern, and patterns look like cover-ups.
Dr. Tyler, you have a law and medical background. What do you think about this report?
Medically and legally, this report is damning. First, keep in mind, you only need 1 expert to affirm the merit of a case. The plaintiff, Natasha, produced 6, and every expert, all 6, agreed on the same core findings. 1, Kenny was overmedicated. 2, monitoring was absent or undocumented. 3, records were altered, incomplete, or inconsistent. 4, billing did not match the care provided. 5, the medication pattern is consistent with overmedication contributing to death.
And the missing vital signs?
The VA version proves the data existed. The Cox version proves it was removed. That is not an accident. That is intervention.
And then there's the community. Over 1,000 people have contacted the family with similar concerns. It's people driving 40 minutes to Mercy because they are afraid to go to Cox Branson.
People reporting documentation irregularities, unexplained outcomes, and fear of retaliation.
This is no longer a private dispute.
You are right. This is a public safety issue.
This leak changes everything. The motion to dismiss. This report makes dismissal nearly impossible. The affidavits of merit. This report reinforces them. The upcoming hearing. This report will be the shadow hanging over every argument.
And let's be clear, if the documentation is unreliable, the defense collapses. Hospitals can argue medicine. They cannot argue missing data, altered records, or contradictory versions of the truth.
Tonight's leak confirms what many suspected. This case is not about 1 patient, and it is not about 1 mistake. It is about a system in a system that may be failing the people it is supposed to protect. We will continue to follow this story. We will continue to bring you the truth, and we will continue to shine a light where others prefer darkness. And this is Vital Signs and Verdicts. Remember, patient rights aren't optional. Accountability isn't negotiable, and integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching.
All right.
Quiet steps had a fire unbroken, shadows hold a vow unspoken. I walked in quiet, they thought I'd stay that way. Just a widow in the shadows with too much on her plate, but They threw up walls, tried to block every road, but I learned to improvise. That's how legends explode. Got a petition in my pocket, voices rising behind, and the whispers turn to thunder when the truth aligns. They said I'd falter, said I'd bend, but they don't know how far I'll go to defend. I'm the champion for the ones they tried to erase, the wildfire woman they never thought they'd face. I'm more Al Capone than El Chapo in grit, stacked odds and strength that won't quit. Thought I'd break without a lawyer by my side, but I learned the rules, flipped the script, turned the tide. Every obstacle they built became a stepping stone. Every silence they forced became a megaphone. They said I'd stumble, said I'd fall, but they don't know the height of my call. I'm the champion for the ones they tried to erase, the wildfire woman they never thought they'd face. I'm more Al Capone than El Chapo in grace, strategic and steady, I'll win this race. So think outside the box, break every chain, turn every locked door into a window pane. I'll rise from the smallest, I'll last for the truth, I'll rise for the vow I made to you. I'm the champion for the ones they tried to erase, the wildfire woman they never thought they'd face. I'm more Al Capone than El Chapo in fire, a broken resolve that won't expire. I won't stop till the silence speak. My vow will echo strong and sleek. My promise holds, unyielding and deep. I'll fight for the truth.